and for 11 years on the legendary Carol Burnett show. She put smiles on faces all across America, and I'm smiling just having her here, for sure. Welcome so much. Her new book is called This Time Together, Laughter and Reflection. Carol.
Hi, honey.
You know, I just think you're the greatest. Everyone's clapped when you walked in because no one else got that so far.
Really?
They clap after they're done, but not when they walk in, like when the Queen of England would walk.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello. Where's my pocketbook?
She can't dress for nothing.
Oh, I'm true.
Poor thing. So, you know, the ad-libbing that you do there, you know, in the Q&A part you did on your show, that was not easy to do, especially in those days. Nobody did that, really.
Well, you know what? I got the idea from Gary Moore.
Oh.
When I was on his show as a regular, back in the covered wagon days, Gary would go out and warm up the audience instead of having a comedian tell jokes.
Yeah.
So he would go out, bump up the lights, and take questions from, but they never taped it. He just never did that. So when my own show was going to be done, my executive producer, Bob Banner, said, you know, Carol, you should come out and let the audience get to know you as a person before you start putting on the fright wigs and blacking out the teeth and wearing the fat suits, you know. And I said, oh, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. He said, like Gary used to do. I said, oh, no, I wouldn't be that smart or quick or, you know. And he said, well, do like 2 or 3 weeks. We'll try it when we were just going to go on the air. See how you feel, if it, you know. And I'll never forget the first time that we were taping our first show. And I kind of walked out and I was like, hi, you know. Well, gosh, I was scared that nobody would raise their hands, and then I was terrified that somebody would. And I was awful, you know, but then finally somebody said, who's on tonight? You know, and I told them who our guest was. Then the following week, I did it. I felt a little bit better. Then by the 3rd week, the people in the audience had seen the show, and they were kind of aware that we were going to do this. So then a lot of hands started shooting up. And I don't know, I just kind of took to it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want any plants in the audience or anything because that would be too phony.
Yeah, that would ruin it.
No. So then it became one of my favorite things in the show.
Everybody loved it.
I loved doing it.
You know, I mean, you were so naturally funny that no matter what you would say would have worked, I think.
Well, the audience, too. Some of those, I mean, those were doozies. Some of them were really good.
Now, let me talk about some of your co-stars who are wonderful. And, you know, you won 25, the show won 25 Emmys.
Yeah.
It was really a tremendous hit, which I think it was the precursor to Saturday Night Live in many ways.
Well, it was on when we were on.
It was?
Saturday Night Live, yeah.
Oh, well,
yeah,
Saturday Night Live, that went on in 1975.
It was on forever, yeah.
And you made wonderful stars. There were wonderfully funny people. I mean, the late, wonderfully funny Harvey Korman.
Yes.
You know, he just died last year.
Yeah.
I miss him. I didn't know him, but I miss him.
I miss him too.
And Tim Conway. You used to crack up over Tim all the time. What was it about Tim Conway that made you laugh so hard, all of you?
He's the funniest man I know. That's what made me laugh.
Yeah.
No, but we would tape 2 shows on Friday.
Yeah.
But the 5 o'clock show, we'd call it the dress rehearsal, and we would tape that as a backup. And Tim would always do that show the way we'd rehearsed it. Then he would go to our director before the 2nd show, and the 2nd new audience was coming in, and he would say, Dave, did you get all the shots? And Dave did. And he'd say, well, for instance, in the hotel sketch, when I go over to the window this time, instead of being on a head-to-waist shot, be on a head-to-toe shot. That's all he would say.
That's all the director knew.
That's all the director knew, the crew, everybody. We didn't know what he was going to do, you know, but he had thought up some bit of business that he was going to do on the air show that would crack everybody up. So that we were helpless, especially poor Harvey.
Poor Harvey.
Yeah. Tim got him. I think Tim's golden life was to destroy Harvey. I really did. It was just, and it got to the point where there was going to be, we called them the Tim and Harvey sketches. And Harvey was just terrified. He was a consummate actor, such a professional, and he hated himself for letting Tim get to him. But it would come to a point where just before they were going to say a word, okay, camera's on, and here we're going to do the sketch, and Tim would just say, do this to Harvey. Just look at him. Just look at him. Harvey was gone. Because he was just the expectation of what Tim was going to do.
Yeah, cracked him up.
Sent Harvey round the bend.
You know, and the other person that was interesting in those days was Lucille Ball, who was on your show a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you think of comedic female icons, Lucy and Carol, you know, Phyllis Diller, Joan Rivers, these are the ladies that really cracked everybody up. And yet people always tell me Lucy was never funny off the air.
She was very serious.
Very
I mean,
serious.
she was, she was funny. She had a great sense of humor, but she was never on.
No.
Not at all, no.
But she had to run the studio, didn't she, when she broke up with Desi Arnaz?
Yes, I have a story about that.
Tell me.
I guess I can tell it on television.
Why not? We'll
it's
bleep
in the
it
book,
if it's blue.
But, okay.
Don't worry.
Well, she was on our show, and so my husband, Joe Hamilton, who had produced the Gary Moore show, was producing our show. And but I was never confrontational. If Jackie Gleason or Sid Caesar didn't like a sketch, they would go to the writers and they'd say, you know, this stinks.
Yeah.
Write something else. This ain't working. Give me something funnier. Da, da, da.
Well, Sid Caesar notoriously almost threw Mel Brooks out the window because he
held
didn't
him
like the
upside
material.
down.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah. Maybe that's what's wrong with Mel now. I don't know, but I couldn't do that. If something wasn't working, I would be, oh gosh, guys, I may not be saying this right, what you wrote, and I'm so sorry. Could you maybe help me out here?
Oh.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Now, whereas my Joe would say, this stinks, make it better, right? Fine. Now, I was having dinner with Lucy at the farmer's market. We were between rehearsals. We were waiting to do the band rehearsal on Thursday night, and we were having some Chinese food and everything, and she called me kid. She said, you know, kid, you're really lucky to have Joe be the bad cop, because you can come in and be just, And I said, well, I couldn't confront anybody anyway, Lucy. She said, well, I was that way. She said, you know, when I was married to the Cuban, he did everything. He made it right. He did, the scripts were terrific. He knew what he wanted, how the lighting and all of this was.
Yeah.
And all I had to do was come in and be Lucy on Monday mornings and read the show and go do it, and we'd be fine. And then they got a divorce. And then she got another show, I think it was like the Lucy Show.
Yes.
Or she had a couple of others,
Yes.
with Gail Gordon.
And Vivian Vance.
And Vivian.
Right.
And so she came in that Monday morning, and she read the script, and it was terrible. And she thought, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Desi's not here to, and she said, okay, everybody, let's break for lunch, and so she went into her office and she thought about it. She said, I've got to be strong. I've got to be strong. And she said, I went back out and I told everybody just exactly what I thought. And kid, that's when they put the S on the end of my last name.
Lucille Ball, plural, is a great name.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Oh, she cracked me up.
But it was hard. It's hard for women to really be assertive like that.
It was then. I don't know if it's that hard now, but
well,
back then.
What do you guys think?
You're fine.
All right. But who makes you laugh anyway? Who makes you laugh?
Well, Conway still.
He still makes you laugh.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, you go out to dinner with him, you got to know the Heimlich maneuver.
Really?
Yeah, because you just choke.
He starts up wherever he is.
He just has a funny take on everything.
Yeah.
And, well, who makes you make me laugh.
Oh, that's sweet.
You do.
You don't have to say that.
Then, okay, I'll take it back.
All right, I'm going to stop you there because we have to take a break.
Okay.
But just get comfortable, and we'll be back with the wonderful Carol Burnett in just a minute.
What brings you to Tara?
You vixen, you. Stop it. I love you. That gown is gorgeous.
Thank you. I saw it in the window and I just couldn't resist it.
Oh, that dress, it's legendary. And that was one of the funniest moments from the Carol Burnett Show. And I'm happy to have the one and only Carol Burnett here with me now. She's also the author of the new book, This Time Together. So you were raised by your grandma.
Yep.
Who I read that she was married 6 times.
Well, yes, I didn't know it at first. She had told me only 3. And then...
she was a hot number, your grandmother.
Yes, she was. She really was. In fact, when she died, she was 81. She had a 40-year-old boyfriend who was a jazz musician from Redondo Beach.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow.
I remember I came out to see her in Hollywood. I'd put her in an apartment and everything. And so I went in to show her some photographs or something. We were visiting, and I was showing her some pictures. And I'd been living in New York. And she had this kind of green Japanese lantern over her couch, you know. And I said, Nanny, let me just take this Japanese lantern off here so you can see better. And she said, don't you touch that. That's my love light.
Oh, well, excuse me. And and I used to tug on your ear.
Yeah, that was for her.
Yeah, that was so sweet every week. That was a thing about you that that everybody knows about.
Well, thanks.
Such a great thing. And the other thing is, you know, I know that you, in your book, you talk about how your parents struggled with alcoholism and everything. And I'm more interested in the fact that you sued the National Enquirer and won the lawsuit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever told anybody that story on television. I'd love to hear that.
Well, what happened was I was back there. I was going to perform at the White House. Yeah. And I was with our conductor and so forth. We were going to do something. It was when the Fords were in. And so we all went to a restaurant one night, my conductor and the writers and so forth, and we were in this Washington, D.C. restaurant, and it was kind of empty. And then across the way was Dr. Kissinger with a couple of people whom I knew and all, but, and as we finished dinner and we were leaving, I was introduced to him. He said, well, it's very nice to meet you, and I'll be looking forward to you at the White House tomorrow, and, you know, all that. And so that was it.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, in a couple of weeks or whatever, said Carol Burnett was running around the such-and-such restaurant in D.C., spilling wine on people and forcing Henry Kissinger to drink wine and spilling wine all over his tie. And I mean, it was just bizarre.
And the idea that anybody could force Kissinger to do anything.
Well,
yeah.
You know, I tried.
A lot of people have tried.
So I thought, that's not right. You know, and especially when I came from that background, it really made
you mad.
So I sued them. Yeah. And it went for 5 years. You know, the lawsuit.
You were relentless.
I was. I just decided that they're not going to do that. So it went to a jury trial, and then they did prove, not malice aforethought, you can't prove that, but you can prove reckless disregard for the truth. And they even found a memo that they presented at court that said, Carol Burnett and Henry Kissinger were in such a restaurant last night. What can we make of this?
Wow.
Yeah, so that really nailed it, you know. And so, before the trial was over, and I was still, you know, worried about it, and it was in the newspapers every day and everything, and I went, before I was going to go to court that day, I dropped in on my doctor to get a vitamin shot, you know, because it was really stressful. And I walked into the doctor's office, and there was Barbara Stanwyck.
Oh.
Wonderful Barbara Stanwyck.
Brilliant.
She was in her 70s, and she had beautiful gray hair, and she had on pearls and a lovely suit. I didn't know she was a patient of my doctor, you know. But she smiled at me, and I smiled back, you know. Barbara Stanwyck, wow, one of the great movie stars. I grew up watching her. And she said, you're going to win this case. I said, oh, thank you, Ms. Stanwyck, from your lips to God's ears, thank you. She said, no, I mean, I know you're going to win this case. Well, you don't argue with Barbara Stanwyck, you know. And I said, well,
no, she's from Brooklyn.
Yeah, she said, well, I know you are. I said, well, great. She said, my leprechaun told me.
Oh, her leprechaun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, excuse me? And she said, my leprechaun told, oh, they exist, all right. And he said that you're going to whip their ass.
Her leprechaun.
Oh, her
This is
leprechaun
like more than beyond.
Is that unbelievable? Yeah. And she said, now you just get some rest and you know you're going to.
But it's beyond Shirley MacLaine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
a leprechaun.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yes. It's so cute that you're starstruck.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we'll be right back in a minute with more with Carol Burnett. You're starstruck. I'm back with Carol Burnett. Okay, we're going to have some Facebook and Twitter questions now. Let's see here. Where does Carol keep her Emmys?
At home.
Just in the house? Any specific place?
Well, there's a couple of shelves that I put them on it's kind of the media room where we watch television.
Yes.
And
Do you
stuff.
dust them?
I go and I hold them and do my thank you speeches quite often.
Okay. Did you ever turn down any parts that you wish you hadn't?
No.
Okay. What is your biggest regret, if you have any?
My biggest regret. I don't really have it.
No?
No, this is.
You and my Aunt Rose. She had no regrets either.
No, I wouldn't be as where I am or as lucky, even with the bad things that could have happened or did happen or whatever. There was a reason, so.
Okay. Do you like doing comedy or drama? Because people don't know. I don't think they are really aware of what a good dramatic actress you are.
Oh, thank you.
Also.
Yeah.
So which do you prefer?
Comedy.
Comedy, why?
Because it makes me feel happy when I hear people laughing.
That's the best.
That's it.
And you can't really control it.
No, it's wonderful.
You can't manipulate it the way you can with drama sometimes.
Exactly.
Do you consider your life a success? You just answered that, I think. Okay, let's see. Are you willing to do Saturday Night Live? We would love to see you do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You hear that, Lorne Michaels? Would you return to TV if the right project became available?
Not weekly. No, I
No,
wouldn't want to do
that's
that.
a grind.
Well, ours wasn't a grind. It was so easy that I know that you can't do that again, you know. So I did some guest shots on some sitcoms a few years ago, and there's 22 minutes of show, right? Because of the commercials and stuff like that. They would go for 5 hours.
Oh, it's
or
so
6
annoying.
hours, and they were making a movie, or you know, and I'm like, get me out of here, you know, because our show we would take sometimes an hour and 15 minutes with all those costume everything. We'd be out in 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Musical
yeah,
numbers.
because you were on, didn't you play, whose mother did you play in a sitcom recently?
Oh, Helen Hunt. And Mad About You.
Mad About You,
Yeah.
that's right. What do you think about today's TV programming? They want to know.
Oh.
Do you think your show would have made it on TV now?
I think funny is funny.
Yeah, but would they even book a variety show?
Yeah, you can't. Today you couldn't do what we did or what Flip Wilson did or the Smothers Brothers, Sonny and Cher. We were all on at the same time.
Yeah.
And because of money.
It's so expensive?
It's very expensive. I mean, we had a 28-piece live orchestra. We had 12 dancers. We had 2 major guest stars a week, our rep company, and 50 costumes by Bob Mackey every week.
Wow.
So that's prohibitive today. It would the prices would be.
Even though they paid the people from Friends $1 million an episode, it still would have been more expensive to have a variety show.
I think so. Well, I don't know.
See, this is why reality shows are popular, because
they're $1.98.
$1.98. Yeah. Carol, I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you here and to see you. Everyone is so loving you.
Thank you.
The book is called This Time Together, Laughter and Reflection.